Hey folks, this is Kalani. The big Shadowlands reveal stream happened, which means a whole bunch of news for us to dig through. We have more info on systems and features, we have a pretty solid idea of how the Shadowlands beta will progress. Yes, I said beta, how exciting, and we're taking one huge leap closer to that eventual release date. Before we jump in and break this all down, be sure to pop by our live stream sometime over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and we always love chatting with you wonderful folks, so I hope to see you soon. Alright, first things first, do we have a release date? No, we do not. We did get a confirmation that Shadowlands will release this year still, and they're still aiming for fall, which, Twitch chat reminded me very quickly, continues until December 21st, so the same October to December timeline hasn't really changed, but they should at least meet that release window. November is still kind of weird because they would have to work around Thanksgiving and the holiday season in December. They did it with Warlords of Draenor, so who knows. I still expect either an early November release or an early December release. If we get an early November release, the raid could release in very early December or even late November, or, and perhaps the more likely option, if the expansion releases in December, then the raid could open up in January in the new year and just completely skip the entire season. But we have no information on that front. The dev team is just reaffirming that we will get Shadowlands by December this year. Okay, but what about a date for the beta? Yes, that is something we can work with. The Shadowlands Alpha will transition into its beta stage next week. You heard me right, next week. This is the last week of Alpha, so I hope we had a good time. After this week, we're all about beta. Fixing bugs, making sure everything works, making sure everything makes sense, and trying to get as much polish on this expansion as possible. You'll also be happy to know that more invites will be going out as we transition into beta. So be sure you're A, opted in for a chance at a beta key. If you're not opted in, you're not going to get one. And B, keep checking your account status. If you get the beta, if you gain access, you won't get a key. It will just pop up in your options of games to play alongside the PTR client. So, you click on World of Warcraft in that drop-down menu, you should have Shadowlands beta. This also marks the point where the testing environment becomes more or less feature complete. We should get a good look at every available system and feature over the coming weeks to get a more complete picture about what Shadowlands is going to be about and what the end game content loop will include. Most of the reveal covered those features as well as some other larger changes to systems in the expansion. We will also eventually be able to level from 50 to 60 in a more natural path so we can see how the overall progression works, whether leveling is smoother than BFA when we drop off when it gets harder, and perhaps most importantly, when systems like Corruption and the Heart of Azeroth and Essences are fully disabled. One of the major points I'm sure a lot of you will be excited about is related to Torghast. They initially thought Torghast would have to be gated in one form or another. Currencies, keys, whatever else they can think of. They're throwing all of that out. Torghast will have no limits, so now no limits and no timers. There are no keys, no currency requirements or anything like that. You will be able to play through Torghast as much as you want, and the dev team isn't going to try and stop you. Go have fun, you deserve it. I'm excited to see what this looks like in the beta. Apparently they haven't figured it all out yet, but they'll come up with something as we progress through the beta. It will probably be loot locked, so you can get loot a certain number of times, and after that you can still go in, but you won't necessarily get much for your troubles. We'll see though, we'll see. We will also finally get a better look at Covenants. Most of the Covenant systems is endgame oriented. You get to play around with each Covenant ability as you level up, and then at level 60, which is the new cap in Shadowlands, you'll be asked to choose a Covenant to hang out with for your endgame adventures. We still don't have any news on swapping back and forth, but we now have a clearer picture of what a Covenant means, besides its general and class-specific abilities. Soulbinds are going to be a big part of this. They're kind of like a new talent tree type dealio, and each covenant will let you progress through 3 different Soulbinds. Soulbinds are actually key NPCs in your covenant, and the Soulbind allows you to share power. You can only have 1 of the 3 Soulbinds active at any one time, but swapping between them is apparently as easy as swapping talents, so there's some good news. There are powerful bonuses throughout each tree, but one of the tree components is the new conduit system. Those are the gaps you can see in the tree. The reveal likened conduits to relics from Legion, which immediately made me worry a little bit. We can get conduits from a wide variety of content, so kind of like relics, and slot them into our Soulbind tree to gain more powerful bonuses. The main question I have about conduits is how do you replace them? Because if you have to farm the same conduit over and over again because you want to swap back and forth between 2 really good ones in the same slot, do you literally have to destroy it every single time like you had to do with relics? Or can you actually swap back and forth after you've unlocked or earned one conduit on your character? That's the first thing I will be testing when this system is available in the beta. I can tell you that conduits are apparently extra loot and do not count towards your loot limits in dungeons or raids, or at least that's the idea they're working with right now. So if a boss drops 2 pieces of gear, you can actually get conduit drops on top of those 2 pieces of gear. That makes it a little better at least, or better than relics anyway. I also think conduits and soulbinds are going to be a hot mess to balance, but we'll have to wait and see until we can actually get our hands on it. There's also going to be a new system called Renown. This sounds like a currency, and that will be earning renown by completing various objectives and by playing the game. The examples we were given include venturing into the moor and rescuing tormented souls, or going out into the world of Shadowlands and collecting anima. So we're going to have a few options for how to earn renown, but this is a system that will have a hard weekly cap. We'll earn bonuses as we earn more of it, but we will be strictly limited on how much we can earn in any given week. And the system will have catch-ups baked into it right from the get-go, so we won't have to wait on those. I know people were immediately calling this out for being yet another AP grind, and you might be somewhat right. But imagine if the AP grind in Legion and BFA had weekly limits. If you could only gain a fixed amount of AP per week, I wonder if that would have been better. There's no pressure there, especially if you can earn your weekly cap relatively quickly. It's kind of like conquests, right? If you earn your weekly cap, you get a reward at the end, boom, job's done. If you're behind, maybe you can do multiple weeks in one go, but you can only get up to the current cap. It sounds like it's going to work very similar to how Conquest has so far in BFA, which isn't a bad thing. That's not to say there's no reason to play after you reach that weekly cap, just that our progress in this one system will be restricted quite heavily. We'll see how it pans out, but I think having a weekly cap is going to make it much easier for you to play alt at the very least, because then you can say, that's it, I'm done with this character for Renown this week, can't go any further, maybe I can pick up something else. That's something we haven't had in quite a while, and it's going to be very exciting for all the altaholics out there. Covenants will also have access to Sanctums, which are kind of like class halls. Each covenant will have a different Sanctum, and you can upgrade various elements of your Sanctum to provide different bonuses. One example we were given was a transportation network. The Venfir have blood mirrors to travel all around their zone. The Night Fae will be able to travel through the vast root networks of their amazingly beautiful trees, but you might have to upgrade these transport networks to provide additional exits or entrances. Imagine class halls smashed together with the Nightfallen base of operations. It sounds pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to tinkering around with it. Who knows what crazy upgrades we could get? Your Sanctum will also serve as a reservoir for your anima. Collect anima, bring it back to your Sanctum, dump it in the big pool, and from there you can do some interesting things with it, like directing it to the dead zones of the zone that your Covenant controls. Again, we were given Revendreth and the Venthir as an example, seems to be the one that's most complete, but you can use an anima conductor to power other areas of the zone, and depending on the area you choose, you could see changes in the world, and even gain access access to new types of content. Maybe you unlock special world quests or extra bosses. The example on screen is channel anima to the forest ward, allowing you to fight an enemy champion. That could give you more currency, more loot, chances at pets, mounts, toys, you name it. As you pump more and more anima into these areas, the changes can become permanent, and you can see those permanent changes in the world. There's a lot of potential here, but I do worry that anima might in fact become the next AP grind. We still do not really know how we're going to collect anima or what other uses it's going to have, but that's one more thing on your list for stuff to do at max level in Shadowlands. Bear in mind that your Covenant choice will directly impact which zones you can make these changes in. If you pick Venthia, you might only get to direct anima in Revendreth, so that's another layer added on top of this which Covenant decision that you'll have to consider. And that's still not everything either. Each Covenant will also have a special, unique type of event. From the sound of things, these will be significantly different. Picking the Venthia and Revendreth will allow you to throw fancy parties in some of the zone's most elite estates. Probably not what you're expecting, right? Throw the best party, help your fellows climb their way through the ranks of the Venthia court, curry favour with all the right kinds of people, and maybe get some rewards for just how fabulous your shindig was. On the complete opposite of this, the Kyrian have the path of ascension. Take over one of your Soulbinds and compete in trials of valor and power. This will be more combat oriented, and you'll need to take full advantage of the different abilities your different Soulbind characters have, because you won't be playing your own character through this. You take control of one of the Soulbind NPCs. Ian said this will be more like a boss rush event, so if you love combat, this might be the one to go for. Necrolords get to play around in the Abomination Factory, where you can build your very own abomination. Give it a cute name, teach it how to sew, and yeah, okay, you'll probably just teach it how to kill stuff. It sounds like this could end up being a bodyguard-like system though, so it could be a build a bodyguard minigame. That could be a lot of fun. And then the Night Fae get to farm souls. No, seriously, there's a Night Fae farm where souls are being nurtured and you get to play another farm minigame, most probably. So as you can see, your Covenant choice is much, much more than just what ability you get. It's going to affect all types of your gameplay, especially at max level. There's one more feature tied to your Covenants that's making a return. The mission table, but hold on 1 second there. This time it could actually be fun. No, really, I'm serious. Instead of the set it and forget it type of Facebook minigame that missions used to be, the dev team are trying to create a turn-based auto chess style mission table where you put in your champions and followers in specific orders to try and counter different types of monsters, and at the end of the day, just don't die. You'll have tanks, healers, melee DPS, and even ranged DPS to manage to try and overcome these challenges, and you'll be set against different organizations of monsters. I think this could be a lot of fun. Way more fun than just ticking the right box by sending the right follower that we've had for 3 expansions now. I'm super excited to play around with this because if they get this right, it is exactly the kind of minigame I can get behind. Then we were also given a long list of features that will be coming soon for testing, including Castle Nathria testing, that's the first raid of the Shadowlands expansion, Shadowlands Mythic Plus dungeon testing, including the first seasonal affix and other affix changes, Legendary crafting will make its way in there, Covenants will have their own max level story content in the campaigns, there will even be focused PvP testing to make sure they get the balance there a bit better, and character copies will be enabled to play our own characters on the beta, and lots and lots and lots of polish. Hopefully. Tuning will also start in earnest, so we can actually start talking about numbers again. But that's it for the Shadowlands Reveal event recap. We have a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait to start digging around with more of the endgame stuff, so we can get a clearer picture of what kind of expansion Shadowlands is going to be. It looks like there's a lot of content and a lot of features, but is it going to be too much to keep caught up with? I guess we'll have to wait and see until we get our hands on it. The main questions I still have are about Soulbinds. How do we unlock progress in those? How quickly can we do it? And how will any of it be balanced? Do we have to replace conduits every time, or are they more like essences in that after we earn one, you can just swap them in and out whenever you want? I guess most of my questions are about Covenants, and we might have to wait to answer answer some of them because they're going to test them one by one by the sounds of it. The Venthyr will be the first one to be tested, so we might have to wait a while until we get our hands on the others. But that's it for this video. What do you think of the Shadowlands endgame systems from what we've seen so far? Does it sound like too much to get done, or are you excited to have plenty of content to work through? From the brief description of those unique events, Venthyr parties, Kyrian Path of Ascension, Necrolord Abomination Factory, or the Night Phase Soul Farm, which one sounds the most exciting, and which one do you think you would enjoy the most? It's interesting they're giving us so many options. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the alpha alongside us, or help us get ready for Shadowlands, you can find us over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and watching the stream and coming to say hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now, and if you ever wanted to be included in the long list of names at the end of every video, a subscription on Twitch is the easiest way to make that happen. You get a free sub to any Twitch channel if you have Amazon Prime too, so be sure to take advantage of that. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed on Twitch already, and to our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, well, now you know how. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.